Hello. Good evening, and you are welcome to Darak Online TV. First and foremost, we would like to apologize to all our viewers for the disruption that we just had. It was a network challenge, and by God's grace, we have been able to resolve it. And please forgive us for this interruption. Once again, I would like to welcome all of you on this show again. And before I start, I also like to appreciate the effort put in place by the CEO of Darak, that's Nathaniel Labi, under for the work and for the massive work that he has just done and he has always been doing for us, and all the executives of Darak. On today, we are discussing occupational therapy in rehabilitation, the parental involvement in rehabilitation process. Many of us might have heard of rehabilitation and then rehabilitation services and then parental involvement, but they lack full details of that, or they don't have much more knowledge in that field. So today I'm with very interesting people here on this platform who they are going to help us to divert and then to dissect issues on the occupational therapy involvement, rehabilitation services, and then the parental involvement. But before I commence, I would like to come out a little details about DARAC. DARAC is a registered non-governmental organization that deals with persons with disabilities. We support them and their parents to acquire the requisite skills that can help them to live an independent life. We organize program, build capacity building program for students and then for individuals that are in the field of rehabilitation. And we also do community communication, education on disability related issues. So that's what Derek do. That's what we does. And once again, you are welcome. This is the scoop where we talk about disability related issues. We ensure that we educate the public on disability, that it can pave way for persons with disability to be able to participate fully in our community activities and then take some position in our community portfolios. So you are once again welcome, and once again, we are sorry for the interruption. I will go for a quick break and I'll be back soon to introduce my personals for us to continue our discussion. Once again, you are welcome to The Scoop. The Scoop is a disability-driven program that we talk about the right of persons with disability and we discuss disability-related issues which can lead to the acceptance and participation of the PWDs in our community. So to not waste my time, I would like to introduce my guest. First and foremost, we have Mrs. Ellen Afam Dazi. She is a student of University of Education studying community-based rehabilitation disability studies, and she's also a special mother, and then she's also a CEO of With God Cerebral Palsy Center. She has worked with various organizations, so when it comes to this field, she has the requisite knowledge and skills that when she said out there, it can help all our special mothers to be able to know the right thing to do. So, Miss Ellen, you are welcome to the Scoop Show.
Thank you, Danny.
And with me also here is Mr. Paul Forson. He is an occupational therapist. He is an occupational therapist, and then she holds a master's degree in uh, applied health and social sciences from the University of Ghana, Legon. She has been in this field for 4 solid good years. So you know that and then also he is a lecturer at the Kwalibu School of Hygiene. So today, my guests that I'm having are very experienced, and then they have the required knowledge. So I'll urge you to go nowhere, stay tuned, and then listen to whatever they have for us. Mr. Paul, please, you are welcome. It seems Mr. Porto is having a network challenge. So, Miss Ellen, I would like to start with you. So, when he is able to join later, then we introduce him again. So, once again,
Sure.
Mrs. Ellen, you are welcome.
Thank you, Danny.
Okay. So, Miss Ellen, today our topic is occupational therapy and rehabilitation, and we are dealing with parental involvement in the rehabilitation process. And we invited you on this platform to come and share your knowledge on the parental involvement on in the rehabilitation process. So somebody may ask, or somebody might ask, who is a special mother? What's your
Okay, Danny. First of all, thank you for having me on this show. I'm honored
welcome?
to be here. Um, a special mother is actually not a mother that has given birth to a child with special needs, but a mother who loves and cares and who has a child with special needs, because there's a lot that goes into it than just having a child like that. Because I know a lot of mothers that have had children with special needs and they have abandoned them. So when we are talking about um, special needs parents, I actually wouldn't add them to it. But it is those that have actually sacrificed their time, their resource, everything just to make sure that something useful, something better comes out of their special needs children. And seeing the brighter side of the child than seeing the disability. So when we talk about special needs mothers, that is what I would say, that that's our special mothers, because their sacrifice is actually out of bound. They don't have any limit for it. They can go every extent, every extreme to make sure that what people see it as negative becomes positive. So that's what a special parent is, or who
Oh,
a
okay.
special
So
parent is.
thank you, Miss Ellen. So from your explanation, I can accuse that special, if you say a special mother, that person or that individual is not suffering from any disability or impairment, but just
No,
that he has
it's
given birth to a child
a
with
child with a
disability.
special needs, yeah, or disability.
Oh, okay.
So yes, so it's not about you, the parent, but you have a child with special needs or a child who has a disability.
Okay. So, Miss Ellen, how has this changed your life? You having a child with disability or a child with special need, how has it affected your life? How has it changed your life?
Okay, I will rightly say that having a child with special needs has really humbled me in a way. It has made me to see life in a different perspective and to
Okay.
see the world or even the country in a different way. Because you having a regular child, there are certain things you do not go through, because when you have a regular child, almost everything is in the quotes normal. So the health facility, everything is in quotes normal. But when you have a child with special needs, that is when you see the other side of the society that you've never experienced before. So I would say that it has humbled me, and it has also made me to learn a lot. It has made me to learn a lot and study a lot. And it has also made me to appreciate a human in diverse ways, because initially you think that, okay, you are made in the image and the likeness of God. So because you have the nose, you have the all the five senses, you are cool. But at the end of the day, it is not only that, there's more to it, because some may not have all the five, but they can do, in fact, unique things that will blow your mind off. So it has opened my eyes, and it has been an eye opener. I will say that.
Oh, okay. So, Miss Ellen, just now from your explanation, you made mention of that. You having a child with special needs makes you to see the other side of the society. So, can you please elaborate a little bit on that for me? The other side of society. Which side of the society are you talking of? Mrs. Ellen, can you please hear me?
Okay, then if you could come again, I actually didn't get the question.
Okay. I said from
Yes,
your
now I can hear you.
explanation. Okay. I said from your explanation, you made mention of you having a child with special need has caused you to see the other side of the society, and I want you to give more details on that. How have you seen the other side of society? How does it look like? Can you
Initially,
still get?
when I wasn't having a child with disability, one
Okay.
thing that you actually notice is that, Danny, can you get me?
Yes, please. I can hear you.
Having a child with special needs has made me that, in fact, most policies do not work. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, please. You can go on, please. I can
Most
hear you.
policies, you could hear me. What I'm
Yes,
saying is
please.
that, yes, having a child with special needs is actually okay. Most policies are not working on the ground. It is only on the paper. When you get to the ground, it's not working. And it is then that you also notice that there are certain policies that are also made and certain um, laws that needs to be amended. Why I'm saying that, in fact, if you have a child with special needs, it is when you enter, because it can be in a year that your child falls sick. Almost every month you are at the hospital. And this is whereby no provision is made for the mother who is having such a child to even have a place to rest when your child is on admission. You sit in a chair 247. So if your child is on admission 3 months, you will be sitting in a chair for 3 months. No provision is made. In fact, a hospital that is made for special children, or even a ward that is made for children, has only one adult bed that carries one mother. And just imagine that a mother who has gone through CS and has had a child with special needs, that they should be under the phototherapy or something for at least 2 weeks. Such a mother will be sitting with your CS cut, and you'll be sitting in a chair. By the time you know, the wound is even open. So, if having a special need, I would say, in fact, has opened my eyes big, and it's time that the government and policymakers should actually look into your child with special needs, and how do they expect you, if you are a working mother, to work? Do you need to carry your child along? You cannot. You need a place to leave the child, have the child trained whilst you go. But this is a situation whereby that they will tell you that inclusive education is on ground. But you go to the schools and they tell that we don't have the facilities for it, so we will not accept your child. You will go to a center that they are saying that we cannot. But I ask, but you can take a child with a 3 months-year-old child who is not doing much, who cannot sit, who cannot. At the end of the day, the child is now rehabilitated. But at the end of the day, you will take a child who is being rehabilitated, but you will not take a special child because you think that the child is drilling, or the child is not sitting, or the child is actually vibrating or shaking in a way that you think the child is standing or is doing what. So in fact, it's a huge challenge, and it's a huge challenge, and unless you are in it before you understand it most. But I think that it is high time policymakers and other things should listen to special mothers, because we've been there, we've seen it, we are in it, so we understand it better. If when policies are being made and when other things are being put in place, and they could seek for advisors, they could seek for the input of special parents, I think it will go a long way. Seriously, because the health sector is not working. You go, the educational system is not working. What will I mention? Employment, or is it like, no? Nothing is working. Nothing is working, because when it seems that when you have a child with special needs, you are actually blocked from the society. You are actually shut off. But that shouldn't be the case, because children are gifts from God, and until the end, you don't know what a child will become. And I know a lot of them that has become great in the society, that are doing well. And at the end of the day, if you don't give us the privilege, if you don't give us the opportunity, how would these children show their God-given talents. So, Danny, that is the letter that I can say to this one. When I say that it has really made, and I say that the system is not working at all when it comes to parents or family who has special needs kids. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating that if God does not come in, at the end of the day, they will tell you that let the child go and you accept it. You will kill the child because the society is so sick, it's so rigid that you don't even get the access to penetrate through. And it's become difficult when you have a child that already you are stressed, already you are battling with so many emotional distance. And if the society also had to add more to it, it's really it's bad. It's bad. So I would actually say that it is better, seriously better, if policies, when made for children, they will add special needs children and their parents as well. That is special mothers to it. Because if that is done, at the end of the day, we will be able to get certain things that will make the challenges that we are facing more comfortable. Because if a child needs a child needs an oxygen and you enter any hospital and they will tell you that we don't have, go maybe travel to the next village, to the next town before you can get it. And at the end of the day, you will go there and you have to sit in a chair. For as long as your child will be there, you'll be sitting in a chair with sometimes operation and other things. It is actually not the best. So policies actually needs to be amended, and those that when they are also doing, they should also involve the input of special mothers. So Danny, that is a little I can say.
So once again, you are all welcome back. Please, we are sorry for the inconveniences. It's like we're having some challenges with our network today. I don't really know, but please forgive us. We are sorry. So just joining us in the studios is Mr. Paul Forson, who is an occupational therapist, and he has been in the field for the past 4 years, and he holds master's degree in applied health, social sciences from the University of Ghana, Legon, and he also currently teaching at the School of Hygiene at Kwalebu. He also privately practice as a quite number of rehabilitation centers and then special schools. So, Mr. Paul, you are welcome to the Scoop Show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Miss Ellen, sorry for the network hitches. Once again, you're also welcome.
Thank you, Danny.
So, since already, Miss Ellen, you have given us your explanation as a special mother, and God being so good, you have been, Mr. Paul, to have been able to join us. I would like to also give Mr. Paul a question, and then from there, we continue the show. So,
Sure.
Mr. Paul, somebody
Yes.
who might ask, or somebody may ask, what is an occupational therapy, or who is an occupational therapist? In your own way, define your profession to the audience.
Okay, so an occupational therapist basically we want to break it down possibly to the simplest term. So let's look at the word occupation and then we look at the therapist aspect of it. So we define occupation as any activity an individual is engaged in. So for occupational therapists and for some of these new definition on the word occupation, I mean several dictionaries like the Oxford dictionaries has made mention that occupation is basically activity an individual is engaged in. So we come in with our therapy bit when someone is unable to perform that activity So, like example, after an impairment, after a disability, after a challenge, you are unable to perform these activities that you wish to perform. And then it means that you need to look for an occupational therapist so that you'll be able to do all these activities again.
So, Mr. Paul, if I heard you right, occupational therapist, you help individuals that has maybe encountered any form of disability. Oh, okay, so let me put it this way: you help individuals that were born with disability or that developed it after they were born on this earth to redo what they couldn't do. That's to the people that maybe encountered through accident or through maybe those that encountered disability post-natal. You help them to do the things that they cannot do again in their life. You help them to redo it, right? If I heard you right.
Yes, yes. So it's not just accident. I mean, it has to do with a lot of things. So people can be disabled in many ways. Disability just means that inability to do a specific task. So
Okay.
people can be disabled in many ways. So looking at the like being disabled in a particular way, and that's disability making you unable or unable to perform a specific task. That is where we come in. So, like for example, you might seem alright, everything is okay, you are being called. Then we would see it as what? A disability, because you are in there is an inability of performing that task. Okay, like let's say for example, a psychiatry going into the terrain of the
Okay.
psychiatry, they are okay. You might think that but you see they have issues with psychiatry issues, and then it affects the way they perform their activity as well. So it makes them like
Mr. Paul, please can you hear me?
have some form of restrictions to certain way perform these activities.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Paul. So from your explanation, that then significant role? What is the significant role of occupational therapists in rehabilitation processes? Please, do you hear me? Mr. Fosse, please, can you hear me? Sorry, viewers, it seems Mr. Forson is having some challenges in his network. So, Miss
Yes,
Ellen,
please.
let me, okay, okay. You
Hello.
have, then Mr. Forson, please, are you back? Please, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, please, can you
Hello,
hear
I
me?
can hear you.
Mr. Forson, can you
Yes,
please hear me?
please.
Okay. So, with your
Yeah, I
explanation,
can hear you.
I was asking
Yeah, I can
the
hear you.
role. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I can hear
So,
you.
from your explanation, I wanted to find out the role of occupational therapists in rehabilitation services or rehabilitation processes.
Okay, so basically, like I just mentioned, we look at three main aspects of occupation. in the issue of rehabilitation. So we look at the self-care aspects, okay, how one can care for him or herself whilst with disability. And then secondly, we look at the productivity aspect. So how can
Productivity.
this person be more productive even with an impairment? How can we make the
Okay.
person more functional enough? And then the final aspect of it is the leisure and then the leisure and play. So, like for example, children don't have any issue with productivity because most of them are not productive enough. But the context of play makes it very important for them because for children or for kids, they learn through play. So with play, they will be able to manage themselves. So in the rehabilitation terrain, depending on the challenges, so like the issue of activity participation and then restrictions, depending on whatever issue you are coming with. For example, let's say a stroke patient comes in and then he has a left side hemiplegia or any of those sides hemiplegia, and this hemiplegia is actually restricting this stroke person from taking bath independently. You know, for our occupational therapists, our hallmark is independence. So performing an activity like example self-care. So self-care, we are looking at dressing, we are looking at grooming, we are looking at feeding, we are looking at so if you have an impairment making you unable to perform this task or this activity, then we come in. So in the rehabilitation phase, we look at what is causing the challenge, what is causing the impairment, how can we help get the person back. Another example we can look out is maybe like for children, because I see Miss Ellen, who is also as a mother for cerebral palsy something. So let's say for cerebral palsy patient and children, you realize that most of them has postural issues. Okay, they have postural issues, they have motor issues, and therefore they are unable to perform a lot of activities, or sometimes some of them have serious reflex issues. So our job is to come in to make such children play. So you realize that in the phase of rehab, depending on the individual or the client's wants and needs, there we come in to support. So if the client wants or the needs of the client is to play, like for that of children, we help the person play. If it's to for self-care, like for that of the stroke, we help the person able to what, to perform all these self-care activity. Usually it's a skill, like it's a skill that some of them need some of these skills, and some of them would need just some simple environmental adaptations and all that to be still be able to manage themselves within their various contexts they find themselves. So that is basically the rehabilitation aspect of it, to make the person able to do what he was doing before the injury or the impairment. So we look at where the what the harm those impairment has caused, and then we address it as possible.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Paul. So, if you are just joining us, this is the scoop brought to you by Dara GH. Please, we are streaming live right now on Facebook, so you can follow us. Don't forget to share and like and cancel your comment. And if you have any question too, you can bring it in. So, Miss Ellen, let me continue with you. So, concerning your special kid or your special child, what was the most challenging moment you have to deal with, and how did you overcome it? Please, Mrs. Ellen, please can you unmute yourself?
Okay. One biggest challenge was assessing the facilities. One biggest challenge I know it's only me, it's most mothers, is that even having the access to the physio centers, going there actually is one big deal. Getting there is one big deal, especially when you don't have your own transportation, that is your own car. The Yeah, Danny, can you hear me?
I can hear you, please.
Okay. And one thing is that when you get to the physiotherapy centers, mostly at the hospitals, mostly when you go, sometimes when you are lucky at some of the places, you get an occupational therapist, but they are not common. So mostly when you go, mostly it is physiotherapists that are there. In fact, it is one thing that you'll be doing. In fact, I could actually, when I'm even sleeping and you wake me up, when you take the child today to physio, what will you do? Is when you go, the massage. When you finish, you do sitting. When you finish, you do standing. And when you are done, you carry your child home and they will tell you to do the same thing. And I've always been asking, so this kind of routine, can't it be done in such a way that we wouldn't actually have to carry the child there, but certain things, the physiotherapist or the occupational therapist could actually come to your home, come and see the environment, create certain access devices around, make you even the normal things that we have, resources that we have around, use it for it, so that instead of you carrying the child there every morning, going for the same routine every day, and they will tell you that okay, the child spent 30 minutes maximum of 1 hour with us, but the major time is with you, so when you go do the same thing. So my question has always been, can't it be done in such a way that something, a policy or something will be made that the physiotherapist or occupational therapist will rather come to your home, come and use the resources around and show you what to do, so that you wouldn't have to go through the stress of the stigma, the transportation issues and other things. Before you get there, you are already exhausted. Sometimes you get there and you are even in tears that whatever that happens there, you don't even get involved. So that was one biggest challenge, in fact, I had. And it got to a time I said I wasn't even taking my child to the hospitals again for any of those physio. Because what you encounter on the way before getting there, and if at the end of the day, if that 30 minutes, if it could be planned, if it could be arranged, or if a policy could be made that that 30 minutes, you could call the special mother that this and this, okay, I will see you on Tuesday at this time. When he comes, he will create the environment in a way that the child can be having it at the comfort of the home. That was the biggest challenge that I actually encountered. It. I wish something could be done, because I know mothers are still like going through it, and it's still there. I hope something could be done on that aspect, that we don't need to carry, because sometimes when you have a special child, you have other kids, sometimes two, three.
Miss Ellen,
You
please.
need to carry all of
Miss
them along.
Ellen,
Yes, dear.
Miss Ellen, please. You made mention of accessibility. Is it that you don't have access to the professionals, or there is some impediment at the center itself? They don't have
Okay.
the requisite or the required facilities at the physiotherapist unit in the various
Danny,
hospitals.
Danny, most of them, the resources are not too equipped enough
And
to actually have make you go through. Also, it is one routine always, because there are certain
Danny,
devices that they should have it around. Most of the centers, the physiotherapy centers, do not have it. And sometimes you go and maybe there's only one sitting frame or only one standing frame. Parents that are there are more. So your child stands in it for 10 minutes or is out, stands in it for 5 minutes, is out, because you all needs to have access to it. You understand? So you go, and the centers are not even equipped enough for you to have all the necessary things that, okay, you will know that, okay, I went, but it was worth going. But sometimes you go and you finish, and sometimes I will be done and I'll ask them, is that all? They said, yes. I said, I came all this way for this. And they said, yes, that is all. When you go, continue. And sometimes too, you go and there are just few personnel there. So one or two personnels that are handling children. Sometimes the same people handling the children, the same people are handling the adults. That are those that have the stroke and other things. So sometimes they come to you for some few minutes and they leave a child to you. Then they go and attend to another person. So it's really difficult when it comes to that aspect. Danny.
Oh, okay. So I would like to pass in a comment again, but I would like Mr. Forson to also come in since he is in this field and he's a profession in
Danny,
that field.
I
So,
would
Mr.
like to
Forson,
say
what do you
something
have to
about
say on
this.
what Mrs. Ellen is saying?
Yeah, so there is a lot of issues with rehabilitation in Ghana, if I may say. The
Okay.
issue, one of the major issues is that the government is actually not even placing a lot of premium on these rehabilitation professionals. So it makes it look a bit like you doing things on your own. Because for all I know, if you are to see an occupational therapist, yes, we know, with the physios, they usually want to work on the muscles, make sure they are strong, make sure they reduce the reflexes, make sure they take care of spasticity and all that. So with the standing frame is basically for standing. But the issue is that if you improve it, it's basically for strength. But if you improve strength, doesn't mean that you are improving the ability for this child to walk.
Yes.
Sometimes some of them is more of issues of cognition. They need to
Yes.
train, like motor training, motor learning. So for example, if you are to meet me at my facility, if you bring a child, after assessing a physio or after doing all that standing frame and all that, you put the child down, the child will roll. I'll roll with the child, you'll crawl with the child, you do everything with the child. Like so, like depending on the milestone which the child is in. Another issue is that, like for example, this occupational therapy profession started not long ago. It's been about 4 years now. So,
In
so
Ghana
it means
here?
that
Yes.
Is it in Ghana here?
yes, in Ghana here. Like
Okay.
we before then we had some number of volunteers from outside Ghana coming to help. But I mean, being trained in Ghana as an occupational therapist and then working in Ghana started 2012, but the first
Oh, okay.
graduating student came out in 2016. So 17 we started service. So I would say that we started work in 2017. Okay, so it means
Okay.
that in that sense we don't have a lot of occupational therapists within the system. Okay, so we have very few hospitals have access to these occupational therapists.
Occupational therapist. Yes.
Yes, so that is a fact. But the issue also is that the government is also not putting much premium on the effort of rehabilitation. It looks like everything has to do with medicine. I mean, everything has to do with the doctor. So but I think that I support the assertion that Miss Ellen made on the issue of accessibility, and then because I believe that even with rehabilitation, it is best done in the client's home, because clients are the beneficiaries of whatever rehabilitation you want to do, and these clients would not come and live in the hospitals. So definitely it should be in their homes, in their houses. Okay. But you see, the issue about these houses or coming to see them in their homes has to come with fees. You get it? Because if assuming you are seeing a cerebral palsy patient, means that you have to see this person for a very long time. And in seeing this person for a very long time, there is a likelihood that the parents are going to pay more. Okay, and you see, this is the issue of, I mean, there is a whole lot of issues. If you could get policy to make, because I know with the UK system, for example, when you give birth, there is an insurance cover. So if a therapist is coming to your house, you don't have any issue.
I
The
was
only
even
thing is
about to
that
ask you. I was even about to ask you that because she was talking about these kind of things. So, if okay, assuming right now you have made us aware that there is insufficient tools at the various rehabilitation centers or physiotherapy units in our various hospitals. So if assuming a mother with a special child being able to produce this kind of things in his or her house, will you people accept to go and then offer your service for him over there on
Danny,
free charge, or you are
Danny,
going to
Danny,
charge the person?
let me come. Danny, let me come in here. Even if they accept to come, in fact, most of them will accept to come, but the charges alone will let you not call them. Because I was having two guys that were coming to my center to do it, and in fact, they were charging 25 cedis per child, attending to a child. And in fact, it got to, I think after the week, myself and Anna couldn't even afford it again, because the charges that will come, it will drain you totally, that you wish you could look on the net and do certain things on your own. So the thing is that it is not even the parent accent, because the child alone, the medication and other things is draining you. So why can't there be policy? Why can't the government take it up that at the end of the day, a child with special needs should be attended maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes, even if it's 10 minutes. We can learn a lot from them coming, from them using the resource around us to use it, that when they are not there, we can't be able to do it on our own. Because Danny, if you ask for them to come to your home, it's only the rich that can afford.
This
Yes,
is really
Danny,
serious.
like I was saying, I mean, all that
This,
she's saying is very, all that Mrs. Ellen is saying is very true. I mean, it is very like the cost involved is also very high. The home service is good, but the cost involved, because assuming I don't know where her center is, but if you are, let's say, example, I am in Kolebu at the moment. So let's say her center is at
Atashi,
let's say East Legon or
Teshi,
somewhere in Accra,
it's
somewhere far
Atashi.
off from my place. Definitely, if I'm going, is that
It's
Teshi.
Atashi.
okay? So assuming her center is at Teshi, and then I have to leave all the way from Accra here to Teshi. You know, one would be the cost.
So,
Yes, I'm saying, so if I have to move from here to Teshi, one is going to be the transportation. Issues with transportation is one. Then two, I can't also just go and see a client and then come back just like that. At least I need to be motivated. You get.
sure.
So, but the issue is
So,
that
so I
the
think
issue.
this issue here, if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it and talk about it. But it's like neither the special mother's fault or you, the professionals, your fault. I think there's supposed to be some national policies that will cater for this kind of issue. So I think that's what you, the specialists in here, the professionals, and then the special mothers too. I don't know, Miss Ellen, do you have anything that the special mother? Do you have a group that maybe you have been pushing this agenda for government
Yes,
intervention?
in fact, it's been pushed, not only me, and in fact, as the government is, we are actually asking the government to put in policies. In fact, the occupational therapists and physiotherapists should also reduce their charges, at least so that they can at least support. You didn't actually let him landed. If he actually landed, he would have told you that it's apart from the transportation, he needs to be motivated as well. Outside the chat, by
And
the
he
time
said
you
it.
leave
He
my
said it.
house, his 100 days is gone. You are not, so, and how many days can you have this? Yes. So
And it's,
apart from the government, that the policies needs to be made so that it will go into their actually and other things. They should also reduce certain charges. Their charges, they should also come down so that at least most of the mothers can also, as the government is working on it, can also directly deal or actually request for their services as well.
okay, Mr. Forson, I want to close on this chapter, but I want to ask you a question here. You are in the
Okay.
medical profession. Is there any medical policies for special mothers and their case? Because I know that you have the Act 715, but I don't want to go there. But I want to know, you being a
You know,
lecturer and then also working in that profession, is there any policies in the hospitals for them?
there has been a lot. If you want to look at policies, there is a lot of policies in our system.
And
Like
is it
for
working?
example, I chanced even on this Ghana Educational Service, Ministry of Health,
It's not.
sorry, Ministry of Education. Ghana Education Service have a yellow book on the issue of disability in our schools. And in that book, in that policy, there is an occupational therapist who is supposed to act or like monitor every child from the beginning of the moment the child enters school. So they are supposed to assess their issue of cognition and memory and all that, to make them know where to put them, know how to put them. If there is an issue of autism, if there is an issue of cerebral palsy, all of these things are documented nicely. But the issue is that in Ghana, policy doesn't work. It looks like they just draft it and then it's lying somewhere. So there are a lot
Yeah.
of policies, there are a lot of things. I've even been to Ministry of Gender and Social, Children and Social Protection. I wanted to do something for Osu Children's Home. The kids with disability. I wanted to do something for them. Every time you go and then it is one way or the other, you have to meet director, you have to meet. I felt it was becoming exhausting, so I just had to stop. Why would I worry myself after all? I just wanted to do something good to my country. You get it? So sometimes these are some of the challenges that we face. There are policies, if you mention, there are policies, nice, nice policies, but the implementations of these policies is the issue. Like I mentioned, the Ghana Health Service, I think
That's
maybe
it.
one Ghana Education Service, you can check on that. They have a yellow book on disability.
Yes, I've seen
Everything is
that. I've
stated
seen
in the
that.
role of physio, the role of occupational therapy. A
Even if you
lot
go
of
to the
these things,
accept,
but
yeah, I've seen that,
you
Mr.
see
Foster. Even
nobody
if you go
cares.
to even if you go to the Act 715, there are all this law backing them, but it says like the enforcement of the law is what we are lacking here. So I'll urge
That
all
is
of
what
us
we are
as
lacking. It's not
the
working.
Yes.
okay. So I urge all of us as the special mothers, various NGOs, CSOs that are watching us live right now to come in the aid of these special mothers and their works, and then the professionals who are supposed to support them, so that we can push this agenda up there, so that the government will hear and then do work something on it for us. Okay, so if you are just joining us, this is a scoop, a disability-driven program that we discuss issues relating to disabilities. And then we bring experts on board, and then we discuss matters that will help to educate the public on disability issues, which will lead to their acceptance and then participation in their daily living. So, Mr. Foss, it's your turn. I wanted to find out from you. Please don't forget that we are streaming live right now to on Facebook, on Dara Ghana. Just forget to like it, share, and come see your comments. And if you are a special mother too, or a student or a professional in this field that you are following or you are watching us live, and you have any experience or you have any question, anything bothering your mind, you can bring it out, and at the appropriate time, you read it and see if our guests can help to bring answers to people. So, Mr. Forsen, as an occupational therapist, what uh, category of disability need your services? Because I know you have
All right.
about over 13 categories of disabilities. So, what can you mention to us or to your audience the specific category of disabilities that need the services of occupational therapists?
I think all category of disability would need an occupational therapist, but
Okay,
it depends on the various levels of disability. Okay,
okay,
so let's say for example, some of them, like let's say for issues with let's say visual impairment. Okay,
Okay.
Possibly the only thing we would want to do is maybe some assistive devices, and then maybe environmental accessibilities and all that just for them. Okay, so it depends on the disability, but I mean, usually if you have any issue that's actually not making you perform whatever activity you want to perform, then definitely you need to see. Like I mentioned, there are a lot of disabilities that would definitely need occupational, even with the blind, the visual impaired, I mean, those who are visually impaired, they will still need an occupational therapist, even with environmental adaptation to meet their needs, but not like the use of the brace that is for the special educators and all that. But I mean that every kind of impairment would need an occupational therapy in one way or the other.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fossil. Please read your explanation. Then, are you think out there persons with disabilities and their families they have fair knowledge about your services? Do you do community sensitization, those kind of programs, to let these PWDs know that, oh, if you are suffering from this and suffering from that, it doesn't mean you are a burden. You can come to this center for this service. We can help you to get better. Do you do such kind of things?
Yes, we do. I mean, the occupational therapy profession itself has its own challenges. Because one of the challenge we have is that people are even now treating us like they are trying to make us look like we are occupational health and safety officers. Uh, so, like the moment they hear occupation means that you're occupational health and safety officer. I mean, there is a whole lot. But like I mentioned, it's a new profession in Ghana, and we are trying to still make people aware. And usually, we have every year we have one sensitization program. Like for example, this last year, per the COVID, we couldn't have any program. This year we are looking at some few children's home. So we will select some of them, and then we will look at how we can handle some of these kids. And you know, most of us are also very working and very busy. So possibly teach the mothers how to manage some of these things and all that. So for example, like I said, I went to Ministry of Gender and Social Protection, Children and Social Protection to look at how they can help some of us work with them and all that. That it never like I mean it never worked. When I got there, I realized that most of the parents at these facilities they don't even know how to manage, how to even turn position these kids. So the kids are just lying. And for example, if you are to see a cerebral palsy patient, okay, and you are constantly putting cerebral palsy patient in a supine position, before you realize he has developed serious contractures. Okay, so we always admonish that the best position to put the cerebral palsy child is to prone. So the child likes to prone, face down. Okay, I mean these are all things that we are looking forward on working out. But usually, because I said like it's a new profession, people don't really know much about it, and we are still trying. But I'm sure people, if you have had any disabled child or issue with stroke, or you have been to this one of these big hospitals, possibly you might have heard an occupational therapist. But we are still on because like I mentioned, we are just 4 years old in Ghana.
Okay, thank you for the good work that you people and then the Minister of Health you are doing. But I will urge you to push it further and then make sure that these services and then the sensitization go to villages. Because right now, there's a report in front of me right now that said that even in Ghana here, it's like about 7% that
Danny,
receive
you
persons
are
with
talking.
disabilities or
Danny, let me come in here.
can you
You
hear
are
me,
even
please?
saying villages. Hello,
Is that
Danny.
all?
Can you
Yes,
hear me?
please.
You are even talking about
Yes, please.
villages. Even in
Yes.
Accra, the center and the
You
capital,
see, I'm
even how
talking
many
about villages.
hospitals? No, let me calm down. Just as he said, it's now newly introduced, although it has been in the system,
Yeah,
but
sure.
it wasn't
That's why I don't want to
so.
hold him more.
Yes, but at least they've been in for 4 years. 4 years is not an easy
Sure.
time. It's not short. They could have done. In fact, they could have done a lot if, but they are still doing it. So we applaud them for it. But what I'm saying is that even in the capitals, most of the places that they said they have, the ones that people are common with are physiotherapists, and physiotherapists do, excuse me, just a little. Occupational does a lot, and it actually goes on with your daily activities
Where's
and the
Ellen?
things
Thank
that you
you.
do.
Where's,
You understand? So even
I
in
know where
Accra,
you're coming from.
there are
Where's
only
Ellen?
few. He's
Thank
talking
you.
about Kolebu. He's talking about Kolebu, because mostly that is where you find some of them. But when you go to the other places, they are not there. And that is what we are saying, that it shouldn't only be in Kolebu. They should spread around. If every hospital that has a physiotherapy center, you go and you find one occupational therapist there, it will go a long way in helping. So
Okay, okay. So, Mrs. Ellen, I think this is the reason why you all need to collaborate and then push this agenda forward so that the Ministry of Health and the Ghana Health Service could hear us and then help us to bring a solution to this issue. Thank you, viewers. If you we are going for a short commercial break and we'll be back very soon. Go nowhere. Stay tuned. This is the Scoop Show. So if you are just joining us, this is if you are just joining us, this is a scoop brought to you by Darak GH. It's an NGO based in Accra here that we deal with persons with disabilities. And then the scoop is a show that talks about disability-related issues. We bring personals on board to come on with their experience, to come and share their experience, and then educate us on disability issues. So right now today we are dealing with the parental involvement in rehabilitation processes, the role of occupational therapists in providing rehabilitation services for individuals with disabilities. So, and on this show, I'm with Mrs. Ellen. She's an CEO of With God Cerebral Palsy, and Mr. Forson, who is an occupational therapist. Please don't forget that we are streaming live on Facebook, and don't forget to like us, share, and comment your comment and your questions as well. So, welcome back, viewers. Mrs. Ellen, I would like to start with you with my next question. So we are talking about parental involvement, and you having an NGO that deals with persons with disability. How do you see parents? Are they actively involved in the processes of the rehabilitation for their wards, or they are inactive? How do you see them? Please, Miss Ellen, can you unmute your device?
okay, Danny, can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay, so parents are seriously actively involved, because the thing is that if you don't take care of your child, who will do it for you? And one thing is that when it happens like that, special mothers need every solution to make sure that their children are back or they are on their feet, because that is the joy of every mother, to see that a child is running around, working, calling him or her, and calling her mommy and stuff. So the involvement is really uh, huge on the part of special mothers, but the frustrations around, the restrictions around alone will make you discouraged. That at the end of the day, you want to lock your child in the room. And that is what we actually want to discard it. That is what we even don't want to bring it up. Because every child is equally important as any other, no matter the sex, no matter the race, no matter the every child is equally, it should be on the same equal basis. So parents are really involved. But just as I was saying, the things around it, the things surrounding it, the stigma in the society, the restrictions in the society actually makes most of the parents actually give up. But with involvement, when it comes to physio, when you see any mother who is not actually attending any of the therapy center, then which means the frustrations have actually gotten to her that she has given up. If not, they are always there, 247. Because you'll be running around all over with the health centers, making sure that you get solutions where there is none. You will see all the documents there, all the policies there. In fact, finding that you have this right, you have this right, but you go there and it's a different story altogether. So the involvement of parents or special mothers is unimaginable. It's big. It's huge.
So, from your presentation, Miss Ellen, you are telling us that when it comes to involvement of parents, is very high or is on very high note. Is it both in all? Is it like you see, you have towns and cities and villages. Those in the villages, is their involvement the same as those in cities, or we have some gap in it?
Okay, so Danny, what I'm saying is that when you listen to me, you could even hear that I was saying more of special mothers. The
Yes, please.
involvement of fathers are not there. Whereby you
Fathers.
see fathers, oh, when you take fathers, it is 5% of fathers' involvement. Mostly when you go ask when you ask Mr. Fortney, he will tell you that mostly it is the mothers that brings the children. Mostly the fathers are not there. The fathers too that you get that involved, they are angels. That when you get them, they are totally involved. And it is not actually the same with the towns and the villages. Because the towns, there are certain opportunities in towns than villages. Most of the villages do not even have physiotherapy centers. They have not even heard of a physiotherapist, not to talk of an occupational therapist that we are now hearing. They haven't even heard of. So they are actually, their solution is only with herbal and other medicines. So it is not really there as it is in the cities. Even in the cities, it will shock you that most parents will come and you ask them what is actually even wrong with your child and they don't even know. So a mother who does not even know the condition of the child, how can such a mother seek for any kind of professional solution for the child? Because he does not even know whether the child has CP, whether the child has autism, whether the child has this or that. So such a mother, where would that parent or where would that mother go? So it is not actually the same. And the education, just as you were saying, it is not really there. You can't even find it. People don't know where they can even go for accessibility to even access their child and know what is actually wrong with their children. How much to talk of? Because if you take the whole of this big Accra and it's only Achimota that you can go, what of those who stay far off from Achimota, who cannot get that access to that place? So it is not the same. It is actually, it ranges. And in the villages, even, I wouldn't even talk about the villages, even in the towns, you cannot even find it, not to talk of in the villages. So it's really a huge issue. That is why mostly when you go, they have tied them around, they've locked them in the rooms because they don't know where to go. They don't know who to talk to. Because if I could go to a doctor and I'll ask what is this, and the doctor will ask me, what do you think is wrong with your child? Then where am I going? There's such a mother. Then I said, that is the reason why I'm here. And he doesn't even know what to tell you. Then he starts flipping through his phone, trying to find it on the net, what and what. It is frustrating, big time.
Okay. This is
I want to
there. I
ask a
think
few.
there is. Mr. Ford, do you have something to say on that? Mr. Ford, did you have something to say on that?
Yes, I think is that the
Please, can you amplify your voice?
yes, please. Aside the rural communities, okay, there is also okay. I'm saying communities. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Hello. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Mr. Foster, you can go. Mr. Foster, can you check your? Can you check? It looks like your phone is on. Can you unmute yourself first?
my okay, please
Yes,
can
we
you hear
cannot
me
hear
now?
you. We
Okay,
cannot hear you.
so I'm saying that the issue also with stigma has also caused a lot, and then some of
Okay.
the mothers are even also not ready to accept that their child has these conditions, especially those who are aware of it. So, like for example, I met this woman at Kolebu Child Health. The child was diagnosed with jaundice at the early stage, and one of the risk factors to this cerebral palsy is jaundice. So later on, the child was then diagnosed as having cerebral palsy. The way the woman shouted, "God forbid, I will not allow you people to see my child." And then strangely, she took the child and then they left the hospital. I mean, some of these things are things that it's also not helping the system as well. So I mean, if there is going to be, it should be more generalized something, because also the stigma is also doing a lot of harm than good.
Then, Mr. Foster, from where you are coming from, I think there is more education to be done. We have to sensitize the public, and then you have to educate them on disability-related issues. Well, because it seems like some parents don't even understand what disability is.
And
So I think
Danny,
there's more.
Danny, let me add a little to it. Sometimes too,
Okay.
it's how the story is, how they break it to you. Just imagine such a mother, if they have started from somewhere, educating her to the level of telling her this is what your child has, rather than just going straight away and telling your child has cerebral palsy. Sometimes they have heard it, and now because of the education that is going on, they have heard it. But initially, you knew how they describe them in Yoruba, this or what and that.
Sure, sure, sure.
Nobody wants to see the child as that tag name. So if they have maybe been able to explain, okay, so your child has this, there's a damage, a little damage to the brain, this side to maybe the poster, the distance, so it would then they have started somewhere educating the mother. The woman, I don't think the shouting of God forbid, because I shouted God forbid when the story was away. And I shouted, I didn't, she only said God forbid. Me, I said the devil is a liar. It cannot happen. In fact, I just shouted because when the story is just put to you, bang, like that, it's difficult to digest it. But they should also know how to break the story. No, because it is not easy for a mother carrying 9 months going and you are telling the child that your child will be drooling for maybe for the rest of the child will be lying down for the rest of. It's not an easy information to digest. So that when they are breaking, there should be more education because the mother has not actually had more. And maybe from where it's coming from, children that have that are from parents that have been cursed, that have gone to the riverside to collect children and other things. So if the education should be made more, have time for the parents, explain things better. Before you go to the fact that, okay, this is the condition the child has, I think they will accept it in good faith without saying
Thank
much of
you.
God forbid.
Thank you, Mrs. Ellen. So I think, Mr. Forsen, you have heard from the one of our special mothers. So I think you push this agenda up there so that when it happens like this, you can take your time and then explain this more better to them. And then we also beseech parents with children, especially that you too, please, when you go and they are trying to explain something to you, take it to listen to whatever they have for you, so that you people will know how you can work on it. Please, I would like to read some of our questions that we are receiving, and then some comment too from our viewers, and then from there we continue. So this is from Isaac Arthur. He says the government is not putting in much resources to enhance or improve rehabilitation in Ghana, and that has brought a
Of
lot of
course.
distress to persons with and their family members, and even the professionals themselves. I think both the professional and the social mother have spoken about this. And then from Abena had favor. She says, the laws are there to support rehabilitation and disability issues, but the enforcement is a problem. Oh God, help Mother Ghana. God help me. So please let's all come together, help to push this agenda forward. Please, if you are watching us and you want to sponsor this program, after me reading this, your views, a number we put in on the screen for you, you can pick it up and then call for us to uh, talk and then see how we will work things out. This also is coming from Abinat Beaver again. He said, I also think that to make occupational therapy effective, there should be a group therapy which includes the family member, the family members of persons with disabilities, for them to play more effective role in the rehabilitation process. So this what I was about to even ask this question, and then one of our guests has pointed out. So, Uh, Mr. Fawcett,
For
what do you have to say
yes.
on this? You, as a occupational therapist, do you have something like you collaborate with the persons with disability, their family, and then to take care of them, or you just go to the child straight, work on the child, and then you left the child to the mother?
Usually, like I mentioned, since we are not many in the system, I mean, we have very few of us within the system. Okay, so usually once in every year during the World Occupational Therapy Day, we organize something like that. So I remember 2 years ago, then I was the PRO for Occupational Therapy Association Ghana, and we did such an event at Kolebu. So we did an exhibition with some of the mothers coming around, some of the people with disability coming around. Last year we planned doing a similar thing, but it didn't work because of the COVID. And
COVID.
we are looking at this year we doing also same. The school I teach, it's an occupational therapy assistant school, and myself, for example, I always want the students to rather explore. So, like for example, this semester, next semester they will be in school whilst having their clinicals, and I'm looking at they not being in the hospitals now. So, we would rather throw them to some of these special schools or some of these homes. So I think after the show, I could also link with Mrs. Ellen to get some of my students were placed and all that. But I think generally we always deal with the
Please
mothers because
continue.
um I think generally we deal with the mothers because our kind of therapy is more family-centered approach. So we deal with the family and then the children as well. So we always involve the mothers. We teach them what they should be doing for the children. We teach them how to manage these children and all that.
Okay, Mr. Foster, I think this initiative is very nice. So we will encourage you to push it further, and then you people should not just only look at the cities. Please, there are villages down there which we have persons with disability tools over there. So I think you can just expand into those kind of people down there too. All right. So Mrs. Ellen,
Yes, Danny.
uh, as a mother and then somebody in the field of rehabilitation, what do you think can be done to ensure that we get parents that are not supporting their wards with disabilities to change their mind and then take heed of that and then work on it?
Okay, Danny, what I will actually say is that one, there's actually no therapy now. I stand to be corrected too. That you will not actually get the involvement. They can't do it on their own. Mostly, with them and the family, either the mother or whoever that is there. Because even when you go to them and the training is going on, mostly it's interaction throughout. But I think that the attitude also should actually be positive, because sometimes the stigma, the attitude, how you even be talked to, how you carry your child out, stay here, and that also puts most parents off. And I think that government should actually establish more rehabilitation centers. It is in their law. They should be able to fulfill it, because if you are supplying, I don't want to go there, but if you are supplying other things, like diaper to girls, pampers to how do you call it, pads to girls in school, you should be able to build most rehab centers for for parents with special needs, because it's a huge tax. It's a huge tax that when you get the involvement of the society and specialists around, it's lessen the pressure on you. So I think that there should be more rehab centers to be built, because it would be so nice that if I have somewhere to go and I have um, a rehab center close by that I can send my child there for 5 or 10 minutes, or maybe an hour or two, to go and do whatever I want to do and still come back and still have, oh, how did it go? How is it? And other things. I think it will go a long way. So, one more rehab center should be made. One, there should be more positive attitude towards parents with special needs, because they are going through a lot. I can understand the mother that said, God forbid, I will not accept. She's going through a lot. Maybe for all you know, she has heard stories that she doesn't even want to accept. And at the end of the day, they are, in fact, I always see them and I clap them at their shoulder that you are doing a great job, because others couldn't handle it, they killed them. So when they come to you, when they approach you, there are some of the information you will give, modify it a little bit. Don't just tell me that medically we have reached our limit, so there's nothing we can do for your child again. If you are telling me that I should go home and kill the child, so in fact, the professionals should have a way of modifying and in fact sugarcoating the words that they actually tell, although it should come out. But sometimes coming out plain like that, it has made a lot of them take the lives of the kids and even theirs as well. So that actually should also be done. And apart from that, the services should be made at home. There should be that kind of home therapy, home training, home services as well, so that we, the parents, will not always be like carrying our children there. Let them also come and see that although the child spends 30 minutes with you, the whatever 30 and a half hour, 23 and a half hours that the child has, this is the environment the child stays in. This is what I do. Is it okay? Should I go on with it? What should I do? So I think there should be other things like that, that the therapists or the specialists could also come home and come and.
Sorry, Miss Jason, Miss Ellen Jess, Miss. Sorry that we are having some network challenges. It seems Mrs. Ellen has just left the page. We are trying to bring her back. I would like to pass this comment on to from Ras Promise. I am watching live. Sorry, I am watching live in the voter region. Keep it educated. Thank you, Mr. Ras. So. Mr. Fawcett.
Yes, please.
Since Mrs. Ellen is not here, let me ask you some few questions since we are about ending our program. Please, if you want to call, you can call 0594571452. 0594571452. And if you want to sponsor, there is a number which is displayed right now on the screen. You can pick it and then call us for us to know how you work about it, and then see how better we can do to support our own individuals with disabilities. So, Mr. Foss, it seems like I understand Mrs. Ellen. It's like she's on you too. She's on you, but we promise that one day some of the questions is for those up there, the ministers, and then those people. We will bring some of them on board so that we can talk on this kind of issues very well. So, you being a professional in this field, what would you say about access to your services in Ghana?
Okay, like initially I was saying, it's quite expensive. That's for that. It's a fact. rehabilitation, like someone posted, rehabilitation in general is quite expensive in Ghana. And then, like I mentioned, you see, in a more developed system, more where we can make access to some of these insurance policies and all that. Like for example, the UK. The UK, when you have, let's say, you can just be called, like the therapists hardly even work within the hospital space. So within the hospital space you could get like two or three therapists within the, usually most of these therapists like the occupational therapists and the physiotherapists are within the community. So it's more of a community thing. So when you need our service, your insurance people call the therapist and then the therapist take care of them. That is why I think during the COVID, the UK minister applauded the role of occupational therapists more in. I mean, there is a lot we could do, but all of these things boils down to the issue of policy. The issue of policy, because sometimes, like we were saying, if we had even implemented the Ghana Education
Laws.
Service policy on disability, you will realize that, like by now, most of these children, we are even including Mrs. Ellen's children. Some of them could have been in school, and if they are in school, definitely they will get access to occupational therapists. You understand? So it's sometimes I believe that it's just the implementations of some of these things that is the challenge. So assuming like she has a special child at home, but she gets to school and she gets occupational therapy service, and then the government pays the therapist. I mean, it's, so I think most of these things, if we can really handle it, it should be more of aside the education we are supposed to do, aside we putting pressure. Most of the issue comes with me. I think the issue is more of the government placing much premium on medicine and then taking rehabilitation out. I think that is the main issue, because you imagine the number of rehab professionals that are being employed. Sometimes they don't even care whether they employ them or not. But I mean, for, let's say, for a nurse or a doctor to be employed is their ultimate priority. But for you to employ some of these people is a challenge. That is why even with the, so like for example myself, I'm planning to vie for vie for the position of the president for occupational therapy association. And then put a lot of pressure on these
Please,
government,
Mr. Prophet, can you
especially
position
these
yourself very,
government.
Mr. Prophet, can you position yourself very well, please? Please, can you position yourself a little bit? Please, can you position yourself a little bit? Reposition yourself.
Hello,
Yeah, hello.
hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, is it better now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Is it better now?
Yes, please. Yes, please, Mr. Foster, you
Hello.
can carry on. Yes, please, Mr. Foster, you can carry on. You
Oh,
can
okay.
continue, please.
So like I was saying, most of this issue
Most of this
about
issue
policy and all
about
that. So like
policy and all that.
talking
So like,
about, okay, what we I
about,
think the
okay,
parents
hopefully,
are
I
also,
think the
is
parents
that
are
you know
also,
sometimes,
is that you know
because
sometimes,
we are the professionals,
because we are
when
the
we are telling
professionals,
the
when
government,
we
it
are
looks like
telling the
because we
government,
want
it looks
the
like
employment, we
you,
want some of these
because
things,
we
so they
want
are not
the
even
employment, we
ready.
want some of these
But if
things, so they are not
the
even
parents
ready.
put
But if
pressure on them
the
on
parents
some of
put
these
pressure
issues,
on
I
them
think we will go
on
on
some of
these
these
issues.
issues, I think we will go. Mr. Foster,
Yes, please.
please, it seems like you're having some network challenges. It seems like you're having some network challenges more. Yeah, so I will. Then
Yeah.
my
So
technical
I
team is
will.
trying to
Then
resolve
my
it.
technical team is trying to
So
resolve
I would
it.
like us to go for a short
So I would
commercial
like
break and
us to
return
go for
very
a
soon.
short commercial
We are
break and
sorry
return
for
very soon.
the
We are sorry for
hitting that is
the
hitting us today. We are very,
hitting
very
that
sorry
is
about that.
hitting us
Please
today.
forgive
We are
us
very, very
if
sorry about that.
some
Please
difficulties
forgive
that
us
we are
for
facing.
some
We are waiting
difficulties
for a
that we
quick
are facing.
commercial break and
We
we're
are
back
waiting
very
for a
soon.
quick commercial break and we'll be back very soon.
if you are just joining me, this is a scoop program where we discuss issues which is pertinent to disability related. Program where we discuss issues which is pertinent to disability related. We are streaming live right now on Facebook on Dara Ghana. Please don't forget to
we are
share,
streaming
like,
live right now on Facebook on Dara Ghana. Please don't forget to share, like, and then put your comment.
So, Mrs. Ellen,
So,
please,
Mrs. Ellen, please,
what is your final word to the
what is your final word to
government, the policymakers, and then
the
to
government,
special
the
mothers?
policymakers,
What do you
and
want
then
to tell
to
them
special
that
mothers?
they should do
What do you want to
so
tell them?
that it can
That
ensure
is
a better
do
involvement of
that it can
parents,
ensure
and
a better
then it
involvement
can
of
also ensure a
parents, and
better
then we can also
access
ensure a
to
better
rehabilitation services for children with
access to.
disabilities.
Okay, what I can actually say is that policies in a way are useless if it's not working on the grounds. When policies are made, they should enforce it. They should ensure that it's being implemented. So the government should actually put in more for special needs case. Rehabilitation facilities should be established. It should be equipped. They should make sure that resource personnel are there to provide the services that they need to provide for parents who have such children. And I will also say that the parents should actually stop hiding their kids. They should take them there, take them out. The little resource that is there, make use of it. When you go and there's something that beats your mind, do not keep quiet and come home and weep. Ask questions. When the professionals tells you this, ask questions. Why are you saying this? What is it? What is the outcome? At the end, what will happen? Ask questions. And when you doubt, seek for a second opinion. And at the end of the day, make your children available for all opportunities out there for them. Do not hide them. Because you hide them, nobody even know that they exist. But when you bring them out and when you make sure that they are seen, then other policies, because mostly sometimes they will tell you that even if this is done, the children are not even brought here. So which means that the parents as well, we also have a responsibility by taking our children there to the facility that has been provided, making sure that this and this needs to be put in place so that we can have a better resource. And also the professionals, when you are, don't actually leave it at the doorstep of where the child lives and go home. Make sure that there is also a follow-up. How is the mother doing it? Sometimes, even if you cannot even come there are now smartphones everywhere. There can be a video shot. Okay, how do you do it at home? Okay, it makes the whole work actually move faster. And than you being at your place, and going back, and you don't know what even happened. So at the end of the day, if we are able to do this, I think that it will go a long way in helping us. And please, the policies are there. The government, the policies are there. You have signed it. In fact, you know, the standard rules are there. The conventions are there. The Disability Act is there. They have signed it. Make sure it's being implemented. Make sure it's being done. And I can assure you that we parents that have special needs will push it until we see results, because it is our right and we need to have it. They
Sure.
cannot deny it as our right. So we'll push it until they hear that facilities, rehab facilities needs to be built, it needs to be equipped, professionals need to be trained. They need to be trained so that at the end they will be able to give the services that they have learned, use it on the case rather than having the children stay at home, because there's a time bound when you have a child with cerebral palsy. If he doesn't go for this training, there will be a time the muscles will be stiff. There's nothing you can do again. Then it's at the end of the day, what you labored, what you struggled, what you actually put in your time, everything is going a waste. And it is heartbreaking. And please, the professionals, I will also tell them that they should listen to mothers. We live with the kids. We have them. You've studied it in the book. We have them at practical hand. Listen to us when we talk to you. so that at the end of the day, together we can actually build this. Together we can actually improve it. So that at the end of the day, Ghana will stand up rehabilitation center that you can get any other services. But if you don't listen to us and it's always like, are you coming to teach my job? We are not teaching your job, but the job, we are also doing it at home. So when we bring it on your table, please kindly accept it. So that is what I tell you. And I treat every mother. Do not hide your child. It's a special gift from God. At the end of the day, it is your right to access every facility that anyone is accessing. It is your right. Make sure you take it. Because if you don't take it, it's going waste. I remember somebody told me that, Ellen, if you don't go for the common fund, it is your right and it will go waste. Somebody will sit at this office and take it. So it is your right. Assess every possible opportunity out there that you can get for your child. Because those children are not useless. In fact, they are the best intelligent children I've ever seen them. You can only get the best out of them if you give them the opportunity. So that is the little I will say. And please, I also entreat the health facilities. It's not only about the rehabilitation, also the nurses and other things. Some with our children, some of their cases, they need immediate attention. Because if you have a condition that you bring your child and they tell you there's no bed and you are holding your child and the child is slipping off, is your child is going slowly. At the end of the day, what do? They should pay attention. There are certain things that they should attach emergency to it. There should other things that they should attach urgency to it, and there should things that they can sit down and press on their. At the end of the day, they do. Then you go home and you have no solution because in fact, we see you as the solution makers. So if we come to you and you have none to give us, then you are telling us that where should we find it again? So it should be a collaborated effort. It should be in fact, it should be something like a multi-sectorial that each other one helps the other. We bring our ours in, we take yours, and you also take us. And at the end of the day, a good thing is done. So that is the letter that I will say. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, Mrs. Ellen. So, Mr. Foster, what do you also have to say?
Thank you, Mrs. Ellen. So, Mr. Foster, what do you also have to say? Your last word.
Okay, so Miss Ellen said, we always need to keep ourselves, and we always therapy for ourselves. And like I know therapy is our kind of profession. You know that you are supposed to be a family-centered approach. So we deal with the families, we listen to the families. Possibly maybe you have experienced someone, possibly maybe you have experienced someone, maybe you are not what I can assure you that we are always ready to but I think that one thing about it is that sometimes the mothers are also pushing the same agenda. Because when you meet the professionals, because as when you want to work, or because you want money, that's why you are making all this noise. But if the mothers are able to express their needs, example like going to Ministry of Gender and Social Protection, telling them about their issues, about these issues, going to Ministry of Education, showing them some of these files, telling them that this is what we need, going to Ministry of Health, telling them that this and this and this, we know about it. If you make much more effort on some of these things, I'm sure you will get there. Because I can tell you the frustration I went through whilst trying to help my own Ghanaian people at Osu Children's Home, the frustration I went through. You take your letter to Ministry of Gender and Social Protection, they will tell you that, oh, go and see this. Another time you come, the letter have been sent to this, go and see this. You go, the person is not there, you have to come, go and see this. You go, the person is not there, you have to come, go and see this. And you go to this. There is a whole lot of issues, and there is a whole lot of issues. And for everyone there in our we are for everyone there, and I am saying that the professionals are ready, the professionals are ready that we are called saying that
Okay, Mr. Fossen. Thank you, Mr. Fossen.
Okay, Mr. Fossen. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mrs.
Fossen.
Ellen,
Thank
for
you,
joining us on this show
Mrs.
today. We are very appreciative for the kind of information you have given out, the education that you have done for the public. We really appreciate your time, that your time that you spent with us.
That's
We
all the
thank
kind
you.
of information you have given out, the
Know that what we
education that you have
discussed,
done for the
I
public.
know that
We
the
really
people out
appreciate
there
your
are
work,
better than
you
you need
know
to
that
it.
what we
If there is
discuss,
experience
I
you
know
have
that
to share,
the
please
people
do
out there
share
are
with
better
people
than
as we suggested to
you
you.
need to
And
it,
then the
listen
government
to
and
you,
then
and then the government and
the
then
rightful stakeholders that need to
rightful
implement and ensure
stakeholders
the
that need to
enforcement of the
implement
law
and
is being
ensure the
done.
enforcement
Please,
of the
we will help
law is being
you.
done. Please,
We
you
will
have
help you.
you
Sorry. You suggest you
sorry,
that you also help them
you
to ensure
sorry.
that these laws
You suggest that you also
are
help
being
them
implemented and
to ensure
enforced.
that these
But
laws
please, we want
are
to
in the
appeal to the government that the University of Education really
the
is,
government that the Ministry of Education
is
really buys.
producing rehabilitation professionals. They said this about a decade ago. They are there. Please employ them to support our occupational
Yes,
therapists and
please support
our
our
physiotherapists.
therapists and
They are
our
very
physiotherapists.
equipped with
They are
skills and
very
knowledge when it comes to the field of rehabilitation. They are
the
there.
field
Please
rehabilitation. They
employ
are
them.
there.
The Department of Social Welfare, Ministry of Gender and whatever. Please, these people are there. We have these
Please,
professionals. They are there.
have these professionals. They are there.
Please ensure that you bring these people on board to help us in the process of rendering rehabilitation processes.
But the society is not making use of them.
Ensure us in the process of rehabilitation processes.
So we are appealing to the government, Ministry of
Review
Health, and
services.
the Ghana Health Service, the Ministry of Gender, and then the Department of Social Welfare, that UW, University of Education, and the Tech is producing rehabilitation professionals for about a decade. Please make good use of them, employ them, so that they can help in the rehabilitation processes. Because these people are equipped with the skills, the requisite skills, and the knowledge out there, but they are not working. So we are beseeching the government to please come in our aid and employ these people so they can ensure and also help
The
that
Minister
persons are able
about a
to
decade.
access this services.
That persons are able to access these services.
So once again, Mr. Forsen and
So once
Mrs.
again,
Ellen,
Mr.
thank you.
Forsen and Mrs. Ellen, thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
Yeah,
God bless you.
thank you. May God bless all of you for making a time to be part of this informative platform. Thank
all of
you, and
you
really
for
appreciate your effort.
making time to be part of this
Okay, thank you,
informative
Danny.
platform. Thank you.
Okay, viewers, this is the end of the show. Please, the number on the screen is our line. You can call if you want to sponsor this show and this program. Please, we are beseeching all parents to get involvement, whether you are the father or the mother. Please, all of you, get yourself involved for this, for the rehabilitation process of your own case, because it's for the betterment of the case. And then, please, we also beseech the various stakeholders that have the power and the audacity to ensure that persons with disabilities are able to access a very quality healthcare and rehabilitation services to make sure that this laws are being implemented and enforced, and the policies are also being implemented and enforced. Please, we beseech you that we have a quite number of occupational therapists and physiotherapists in Ghana, which is being better, please. But we are beseeching the government to expand it to our various villages so that persons with disabilities over there too can have access to this kind of services. Please, this is a scoop show brought to you by DARAC GH, a non-governmental organization that seek the welfare, good welfare of persons with disabilities, the vulnerable in our community. And the scoop is a show that we dive into matters in relation to rehabilitation field. We bring experts on board to come and talk on issues, the current trends, and then the issues that can help for the acceptance and participation of PWDs. I will once again want to apologize to our audience for the network hitches that we encountered today. We promise that it's not going to happen again. Don't forget that this program is a weekly program that we brought to you, or we bring to your doorstep every Saturday, 5 o'clock p.m. to 6:30. Please do not forget that next coming Saturday we are bringing live to your doorstep. So make sure that you make a time to be with us. And then, please, if you want to sponsor this program too, there are some numbers on the screen right now. You can pick and call for us to take it from there. Thank you for being with us. Thank Tim Darak. Thank our CEO Nathaniel Labi. And we appreciate you for always being there for us. Thank you, all the executive, for the effort that you have been putting in to ensure that this program comes into success. My name is Daniel Jomo, the host of this show. See you same time next week. Please remember to stay safe because we are still in the days of COVID-19. Mask up, protect yourself so that you won't contract COVID-19. Thank all of you, our viewers, and thank all our sponsors.